I'm Dale Tanhart, and welcome to my Dale Talk. I want to discuss the NASCAR Cup Series All Star Race at North Wilkesboro Speedway this past weekend and how amazing it was. Hear me out. The racing was phenomenal. Everything else we can talk about, we can complain about, and we're going to cover it here. But the racing product at North Wilkesboro was amazing. It was the best short track race in the history of the Gen 7 era, dating back to 2022, and it very well may have been the best all-star race we've seen in 6 to 8 to 10 years. It doesn't hurt that you go into a race like this with recency bias on how bad the short track package has been and get blown away, right? Like expectations shatter because we had many passes for the lead. You had a little bit of chaos, like not too much chaos that ruins the race, kind of like what we've seen at Texas and Kansas potentially. But you had all the elements you could want with good passing, good racing, a little bit of beating and banging. You had some tempers flaring in the All-Star Open. The Zane Smith, Ty Dillon beef has been really fun. You had a little bit of everything. And even with that promoter's caution that we all knew was going to happen, we knew it was going to be some type of excessively comedic shit that NASCAR and Fox would do. It actually created an even more compelling and intriguing finish with variants and strategies and Joey Logano and Christopher Bell. Now, before that promoter's caution, Christopher Bell was kind of running down Logano, and it could have still been a really good finish. But throughout the entire race, you had a strong level of passing. You had battles for the lead. You had a little bit of everything with tire wear. You know, Goodyear, the drivers talked about it, spoke very highly of what Goodyear brought to North Wilkesboro Speedway. And hopefully it can inspire confidence to get even more aggressive, as Christopher Bell stated in his post-race press conference, to get more aggressive with the tire compound, to make it even better at Richmond and better at Bristol. I mean, it needs to be better at Bristol, better at New Hampshire, better at Martinsville, all these other short tracks that we're going to get to. The racing must improve. Based on what we had back in 2021, it is still nothing compared to what Bristol and Martinsville were in the end of the Gen 6 era when we had higher horsepower. But this race at North Wilkesboro was pretty close. I mean, the Truck Series put on a great show too. I know you had some chaos and Cars Tour and all that other shit throughout the weekend, but the Cup race was fantastic. From everything that compiled and created a formula for good racing, obviously North Wilkesboro, the racetrack, deserves an unbelievable amount of credit with, as they talked about on the broadcast pretty well, was how this track's already aged and it's widened out and it's like a better Phoenix. You know, like Phoenix turns 1 and 2 where you kind of have options. North Wilkesboro on both sides of the racetrack is like a Phoenix on steroids in terms of, okay, wait, hold on, let me take that back. Phoenix is fucking terrible. It's like a way better Phoenix. It's like what Phoenix wishes it was. That's North Wilkesboro. And I hope we get a points race there. I think we will, because the Fox team was just hammering it in driver interviews. I think that's on the horizon. I think the Xfinity Series will be there because Dale Jr. says he's going to race in it if they bring it back. So they can't not put it on the schedule now for the Xfinity Series. But I think all in all, the racetrack was great. It will continue to be great and probably get better. And we have some confidence that maybe, just maybe, we can improve the short track package marginally throughout the rest of 2025. Because look, we all complain. We're all very discouraged that NASCAR has pinned all the pressure on Goodyear to make a car problem fixed magically by a better tire, which I just don't think is 100% possible. Bristol is a good point in showing us the limitations of what Goodyear can do. I think even with North Wilkesboro, you know, this was a good tire on a great racetrack. I think there's potential that we go to another racetrack like Richmond or something with maybe even a better tire, and you still see the limitations due to the race car that we have in Gen 7 NASCAR Cup Series racing. With all that being considered, I am very, very happy that we saw a great race. If you think that race was not good, please do a recount of the handful of brain cells in your head, respectfully, because it was a good fucking race, not up for debate. Additionally, it gives us some good momentum because people did not like the race at Texas, it seems. People did not like the race at Kansas, it seems, even though I thought Kansas was a good race. Maybe just a little bit too much chaos hurt the fan reception of those two races. I was happy that the promoter's caution in the North Wilkesboro race did not add too much chaos to the equation. Like, we didn't have another yellow after that promoter's caution, and we had really good racing and a compelling battle for the win. I think all in all, it gives us a lot of momentum heading into the Amazon Prime TV deal with NASCAR. TNT coming up next too. There's a lot of energy, a lot of good energy heading into this summer with a lot of really fun racetracks. I mean, Coke 600 is going to be good. Nashville has been good for this Cup car. You have Mexico, which is a complete wild card, new thing. You got Atlanta a few weeks after that. Pocono's been pretty good for the Gen 7. So a really, really fun schedule ahead if you're a NASCAR fan, which has been bolstered by a little bit of momentum from a good fucking all-star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Now, two more things I have to talk about. I don't like to go full negative here, but Joey Logano, Lame Gano is what I like to call him. Joey Lame Gano, please call him that, because I've been calling him that now for 2 or 3 years. And that's what he is. He's a lame motherfucker who is a complete hypocrite about the quality of how he was raced. Christopher Bell raced him extraordinarily clean. He gave him every opportunity. Joey Logano blocked like a motherfucker, as he should. I thought he did a great job. And even if Logano had won this race, I'd be talking to you the same way right now in terms of how I received the All Star Race in a very positive way. But Christopher Bell did everything he could to not wreck him. Like, he nudged him. He just nudged him, pulled a little slider. Like, it was very calculated, very clean, involved some classic NASCAR contact, bumping and banging that was not excessive. And he somehow finds a way to make it like it's a rivalry thing. Like, Christopher Bell is a menace, is a villain, when this guy has done some absolutely evil, criminal deals on the racetrack, especially on some of these short tracks with the way he's raced people. So the next part of this is what Joey Logano referenced with the gimmicks and how mad he is at SMI and the promoter's caution. Joey Lame Gano, you are the king of excelling in gimmick situations. The king of excelling under gimmicky situations. So we have been just a massive hypocrite in this interview right here in a couple of different areas. And I think you should reevaluate the brain cells in your head, with all due respect. Joey's a 3-time champion. He's a fantastic driver. I'm just a generational hater. He might win 2 or 3 more of these, and I'm going to accept it. But at the end of the day, this was so unlikable by Mr. Joseph L. Lame Gano with how he treated Christopher Bell and what he said about gimmicks that he benefits from 99.9% of the time. It was actually amazing to watch that unfold after the race. And I feel like I need to talk about the whole gimmick deal with the promoter's caution with Michael Waltrip dropping the flag on purpose and jumping up there dancing around. It didn't faze me like it's fazed a lot of other people. There's a lot of people in the media, there's a lot of fans that are just disgusted by it. And I'm just kind of like, well, what do you expect? You know, NASCAR on Fox has had this persona since the beginning, since 2001. They've lived and died by this mentality of having a very odd, kind of childish comedic humor. I mean, look, I do the same fucking thing, but theirs has not aged very well, is the problem. You know, when you had guys like Jeff Hammond and Darrell Waltrip and Dick Berggren, Larry McReynolds, who could resonate better with fans by not only being analytical and being informal, but also being kind of quirky and being a little outlandish. You know, those guys made it work over the years. And as they've evolved and they've got different personalities and different people that they've casted to be a part of their broadcast team, and as the fan base has evolved, it just doesn't resonate well anymore. And that's where a lot of the complaints are. You know, NASCAR fans want their sport to be treated seriously, I think, now more than ever, because, you know, 20 years ago, yeah, people loved this type of humor from Fox. And I was a kid, so obviously I'm biased on that front. But nowadays, I feel like more than ever, with NASCAR going through a slide in the late 2000s through the teens, with all the changes that have happened, I think NASCAR fans want their sport to be taken more seriously. And that's what I think TNT, Amazon, NBC are going to do a phenomenal job of coming up. Ultimately, I'm just not shocked. You know, they have not changed their humor level in 25 years. Even if they fired everybody tomorrow and had a new team of characters for 2026, they would implore this exact type of humor that has just not aged well with their fan base. On that topic, I'm just kind of here to play devil's advocate because I've enjoyed it through most of my life. Like, NASCAR on Fox means the world to me, and how much joy they provided, how much entertainment they provided to my life. Overall, they have made my life exponentially better with how much I love NASCAR. You know, I appreciate them so much, and I just, for the life of me, it's really tough for me to shit on them like a lot of the fan base does today because of what they've meant for me for the majority of my life. At the end of the day, it just didn't faze me that much because I'm not surprised. I knew they would do it. I thought it was going to be with Clint Boyer and it would be the same type of deal, but they did it with Michael Waltrip, and it is what it is. The more important point of this video is to acknowledge how good the racing was at a track that I really did not expect it. I think a lot of us didn't expect it, and we saw one of the best all-star races that we've seen in a long time, and the best short track race of the entire Gen 7 era, which is a big deal because of what we just saw at Bristol, you know, not that long ago. And to be clear, not a Bristol problem. Please do not take that off the date. Bristol deserves 2 dates. We got to fix the car, and we refuse to do it, but maybe, just maybe, Goodyear may have learned something more important that can help the rest of the season in terms of the short tracks and create, maybe replicate some good racing that we saw at North Wilkesboro Speedway, which was a huge success and a positive momentum boost heading into this summer. I'm Dale Tanhart, and thank you for listening to my Dale Talk. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you disagree with any of what I just said, go fuck yourself. Respectfully.